Tonelico is a relatively unknown JRPG for the PS2, a true hidden gem released in 2006. Popular websites like Game Informer reviewed this sitting at a solid 7 out of 10, and with sources from Metacritic, around 30 other publications that reviewed the game upon release agreed. A good game is forgettable at best. I'm here to convince you to experience the game, not give away every last secret and detail. Essentially, a boy from heaven crashes down to Earth, falls in love, and learns about the world's complex rules and human nature. Which, if you ask me, it's definitely an interesting premise. The girls you will essentially be dating are of a race called Ravetail. All Ravetails are women who can use the world's magic system to sing their magic into existence. But first, in order to do so, they must have a partner in battle to protect them. On top of that, in order to perform different types of magic, the Ravetail must have a strong emotional connection to their partner, which in most cases revolves around romance. When in battle, you select different songs or magics for your Ravetail partner to sing. An enemy may target them, and you can either block it or just let her get hit. Essentially, what happens is if she gets hit, she literally comes up to you later and questions you, "Why'd you let me get hit? Why'd you let me faint? Do you not care about me?" On the other hand, if you choose to block the attack for her or tank it, she'll thank you. What you do during battle absolutely affects your relationship with her, and I think that's a pretty unique premise within itself. After the battles are over, you get dive points, which can be used to have special conversations with your girl, and items which can be used to craft and spar on more conversations. So, if the Ravetails sing magic into existence, and what she creates is based off her connection with you, then how exactly are new spells and magics obtained? First, simply spend time with her. Travel the world, and eventually, while resting at a designated spot, you'll have a conversation. Next, you can spot little sparkles all over the town areas in the game. Furthering the game's story is kind of like one big complex date. Do your story beats and pick up these shines along the way, and you'll have unlocked more advanced conversations to have with her. While these conversations may not be the very apex of writing, they do a good job at humanizing the characters and make them feel more fleshed out, even if sometimes they're simply goofy, unimportant, or flirty. Beyond that, you can dive with them. It's a sacred act between a Ravetail and a human partner, in which you are literally connected to her subconscious. You get to live through her memories and thoughts, the good and the bad, and because it requires a lot of trust between partners, it's viewed essentially like having sex in this universe, and the fact that it's a deep and private matter, and some people are even judged for doing it at all. Diving with your Ravetail partner is controversial within the world itself, because the Ravetails are viewed as subhuman tools. They are advanced, organically created life forms, essentially made for the purpose of producing magic. While connected to her mind, you help the girl go through trauma and decipher their problems through their flowery mental illness versions of themselves. Spend dive points to have conversations and help your girl get past her fears, traumas, insecurities, and emotions. Advance to the next level. The more you do, the deeper your bond will grow, and she'll perform better during combat. The deeper you go, though, the darker the plot tends to get. Sometimes, you can just really feel that the characters care about each other and have histories. Unfortunately, I believe the inconsistent quality of the writing, combined with unnecessary pervasiveness, is what holds this game back. And those two things are often traps that stories with sexual themes fall into. The difference between the gripping relationship of Yennefer and Geralt and a Wattpad wet dream is unfortunately a thin line. The game is more than the sum of its parts, though, and what lies beneath is something that could have been a masterpiece if it wasn't for the direction that it takes. For instance, listen to this beautiful song that you have the pleasure of viewing as a reward for going out of your way to do some unnecessary story content. This game is a JRPG though, not just a dating sim. So other than that, what's even going on here? Well, you can craft. You don't have to worry about complex menus or any unnecessary items. Just click the item you want to make, and the next thing you know, you've made it, as long as you have them in your inventory, of course. You can use the items during battle, they can cause different effects, or you can equip them as weapons and armor. If you happen to find the story to be in poor taste, though, the mechanics of the combat are unique enough to carry this game into the realm of a cult classic. Chrono Trigger and the Final Fantasy VII remakes may be the reigning champions of ATB combat, but isn't third place just as impressive? Other than all that, the game has a great art style, which is subjective. I fucking love it. It feels like a game someone in an anime would be playing. Like an anime character plays this game you think is really cool, but it doesn't exist. Except in this case, it literally fucking does. Traversal as well as dungeons are just here to get you from plot point to another. You can tell the designers didn't really sit down and ask, how can we make unique and fun dungeons? But rather, how can we create a great world and interesting characters? Which honestly, I would much rather have. But for the game to be a masterpiece, it would need everything to come together. And the best way to describe the feel of this game is it's similar to Chobits. Silly, raunchy as hell, and in poor taste. But when you pull behind the curtains, there's something deeper. A passion from which mediocre media metamorphosizes into its final form. The cult classic. And as another opportunity to talk about my childhood, I think that's what growing up in the 2000s was. We had Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, Michael Bay's Transformers, and the Star Wars prequels. And you know what? A lot of adults hated them for what they did to their favorite franchises. But us, now that we're in our 20s, we get to say, fuck yeah, The Mummy was amazing and we love Brendan Fraser. My point is, though, yes, this game isn't the best. It's time to look past that. We live in a post-golden age of gaming. Too many people are only willing to pick up 10 out of 10s. And it's okay to not be the best. It's okay to need room for improvement. And it's okay to love media that others don't. Give this game a try. It's worth it for what lies right beneath the surface.